Hey everyone, Rhonda Robson here with Rhonda's Tri-RRR-tistry. Thanks for joining me on my Fluid Art channel. Well, today, as you can see these are the sneak peek of all of the glasses I've done over the last few months, and I'll be putting them into videos here in the future. But today, it is about the entire process from start to finish on how to create a few of these glasses. So I'm going to show you how I did a bloom on a tile, how I let that dry, then I peeled the skin of the paint off the tile, cut it out, put it on the glasses, I sealed it, and then you have the end results. So today will be a little longer video, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get started. Hey everyone. Okay, so today is going to be blooms on tiles using all this excess paint to create different bottoms of wine glasses. And so let me show you that. So here are a couple of wine glasses I've already done. This one has a double look to it, double bottom. So what I mean by that is I did a pour in order to create both the bottom and the top on the same tile. And then this one right here I created where I just did one, and then I made some fun stuff on the bottom using different flakes and resin and things like that. So these were testers. Oops, you can't see it. There we go. These were testers, and now that I know my system and my the way I liked to do it, I am going to take that knowledge and utilize all of those paints in order to create some more fun wine glasses. And actually, this is going to be for a fundraiser that I'm doing for my YMCA. So it should be a lot of fun. All right, well, let's get started. All right, so step number one to making these glasses is, of course, creating the bloom. I use Sherwin-Williams Semi-Gloss Ultra White paint as my pillow paint. And for my paint mix, I use 3 parts Sherwin-Williams Base C, and then I add 2 parts of Minwax Polyacrylic. That mixes together with my paint, and I do a 1-to-1 ratio with paint mix and paint. I really like these colors and how this turns out. I'm using red and gold and purple. The purple was a little thicker than I wanted it, and I could have probably put a little bit more polyacrylic to it, but I didn't. Then I ended with that frost pink. My cell activator is 3 parts American Floetrol, 1 part Amsterdam black paint, 1 part glue all, and 6 drops of Minwax wood conditioner. So you put that in the middle, and then you're going to blow down and across the color of the paint. When I blow down and across, the cool thing is about the pillow paint is it helps glide the paint across the tile, and then the cell activator creates these awesome cells. After you blow a little bit, then you allow the paint to come back into the center of the tile, and that kind of helps create more cells. And then sometimes if you can't get the cells to activate, then you just blow in the area that you have some excess cell activator. I love these colors together. They really pop. So pretty. Just really like this. All right, well, let's go ahead and spin this out. And I'm taking my skewer, and you can kind of see me, I'm putting it where I'm taking the color and putting it in the black, or taking the black and putting it in the color, just a little bit here and there just to help with the design. This is one of my favorite tiles that I did, and it looks so pretty on the glass, and you're gonna have to wait and see it at the very end. So stay tuned for that. But it is gorgeous. It's my favorite So much so that it's going to be the one that I take home at the fundraiser. Okay, so there's the results. So the next step, step 2, is to peel the paint off. And of course, after it dries. And I was able to allow these to dry just 24 hours. But I take my X-Acto knife or the utility knife and I go from corner to corner. And again, corner to corner. Then you can just take the utility knife and kind of peel up one corner and just slowly peel the skin off of the tile. It is as easy as that. Seriously, these are super easy to do. So let me just show you another one. I love this one. It's so pretty. Love it. All right, so you go from corner to corner, and you can kind of see how I have my thumb on the blade. It helps me to guide it. Notice how my hand is also off to the side, out of the way from the blade. And then I just peel it from the corner and I peel it all the way off. I love it. Look at that shimmer. So pretty. Can't wait to put that underneath a glass. All right, well, here's a time lapse of me putting all the skins, I don't even know how many skins I did, but I did well over 120 skins. So anyway, I'm just putting them on my pool table, and you can kind of see my dog walking around from time to time. But I'm so glad I have this pool table. It really helped me organize this. All right, well, let me show you all of them. Hey everyone. Okay, so it is still slightly light outside, not great, but enough so that I can show you these blooms that I created. They're skins for some wine glasses that I'm creating. I'm creating about 100 of them. You can kind of see that they are the skins that I cut off of and peeled off of tiles. And it's kind of nice to use the tiles because they're super easy to peel off, and I have a little bit more control over the tile than I do over a large surface, and I can create multiple different kinds of colors, and then I can kind of see what colors I like and what colors I don't like. So like these color, that one right there is the same color palette as this one right here, but maybe you like this one over here. It's a little bit more subdued than that one. So what did I do differently is I didn't add gold, right, where I did on there. So again, it just gives me an opportunity to really find some really cool color palettes that I like. And I am just in love with all of these. It's hard to even tell which one I like the best. I have so many favorites. I mean, I do have some that I'm not as happy with, like that one right there. But, if you make a circle right there, that could look really pretty underneath a glass. So I don't want to say that some of them that I don't like, because I just don't know what they're going to look like as I get going and get the glasses on them. Okay, well, thanks everybody. Okay, so I am ready to go to start putting my 110 now glasses together. They look like this for our Wine About Winter event. It's kind of hard to see with my light, isn't it? But I'll show you end results anyway. I got some of them glued here from last week or earlier this week. And then I have all of these right here ready to go to get on the glasses. Can't wait. I'll show you exactly how to put the bottoms on, and I will show you exactly how I resin them too. All right, bye for now. So the first thing I do is I have my glasses in my box that I received them in, and I take them and I flip them upside down so they look like that. So I take them and I flip them upside down. And then I take Windex and I clean off the bottoms because right now they're pretty dusty and I want to make sure that my skins adhere to that. So that's the first step I do. So I'm going to do that before I start cutting out my skin. So let me get that done. Okay, so we're going to flip all of these over, and I'm going to use this box as my device of how to keep everything together and clean when I go to resin. And I'll show you that here in just a little bit, but it's going to be really cool. So it looks like there is one that's slightly different than the bottoms. Sometimes when you buy in bulk, they give you different bottoms, but this one has a bigger divot in it. And it's working out fine on my other one. So, but you just so that you're aware of that does sometimes happen. So then I just take my Windex. I'm just taking my Windex and I'm just spraying it on here. And then all I want to do is just get the dust off of the bottom for right now. I'm going to end up washing these prior to me using them for the fundraiser, but right now all I care about is making sure that the bottoms are clean so that I can adhere the actual skins to them. So, and then I just let those dry for just a few minutes. So I'll be right back and I'll show you the skins and how I cut them out. Today we are going to be doing wine glasses for a fundraising event for my YMCA. And so these are the glasses. They also have a logo on the back. It's called Wine About Winter because it's winter here in Iowa and we're gonna wine about it. And we're gonna have lots of different types of wines and pairings. And so it's just gonna be where you can go and taste. And so these little glasses these little 8-ounce glasses are perfect for that. But I wanted to do something more unique than just having a glass with 2 logos on it. So you can kind of see the logos there, hopefully. And so I wanted to create bottoms, and I have done this. If you've been watching any of my stuff, I've been doing these for quite some time on larger. So here's the difference between them, on larger glasses. So I wanted to do it for my fundraiser. And I really have had a lot of fun with these. I have almost 96 already done. So I'm kind of getting into my groove. And so I want to show you how to do that. So the materials you're going to need is obviously you're going to need some type of a glass, wine glass, preferably with a fairly smooth bottom. It's all right if it has a dip in it. You can kind of see how that's got a little dip in it. That's okay because when you're working with skins, you don't need to worry about that. If you are dipping these, so like if I did my bloom technique and this was wet and I dipped it in here, it's a problem when you have that little indent. So that's why I use skins. Plus I think that they just look cleaner, crisper, and just more, I just like them better. So you're going to need obviously your wine glasses. You're going to need to have done some type of bloom or some type of painting on a tile, and I use these glossy tiles for that. And when I'm done with them, I use a utility knife, or what I call an X-Acto knife. My husband gives me a hard time all the time about that, but that's okay. But you're gonna need a X-Acto knife and you're gonna cut around the edges, and it is super easy to peel these up. Okay, so now that you've got your peel off, you're gonna wanna let it cure. You let the bloom dry, or whatever painting you do dry, for a minimum of 24 hours. And then you're gonna wanna let your peels, once you peel it off, I did 24 to 48 hours, and I peeled this off. And then after that, I let these sit for quite a while. I've had them done for a number of weeks. I don't think you need to wait that long, but it just makes it's cured, right? And it's together. So you've got your peel, you have your tiles, you have your utility knife, you're gonna need a pair of scissors, you're gonna want some tape, you're gonna have some type of a product that you're gonna glue the skins to the bottom of the glasses. I use Liquitex gloss medium, and it works great. And then I have a brush that I brush it on, and so I'll show you that. Then, because I take the circles and I put them back to back, when you look at it from the side, it has like a slight white in it, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So then I take paint markers. These are the ones I prefer because they have a better tip on them. But you can take tape markers or paint markers, paint markers, and you can paint around the edge just slightly so you don't see the white anymore. And then the next thing I do is then I put tape on it, and then I resin it. I'm testing another product called Decoupage well, it's actually Mod Podge dishwasher safe, but for right now I'm not using that. I'm only using the resin on these. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started so I can show you how to do these glasses. Okay, so I'm keeping my skins in order, so I want to make sure I've got videos for these for later on and that I keep the pictures with the skins that I'm using. So I have my Liquitex Gloss Medium. I have that off to the side here. I've got my scissors. I've got my X-Acto knife. I have a glass, a wine glass, and I've got my tape. So the first thing I do is I kind of decide what I really like for the bottom. So this one, I definitely want the bottom there. And so I grab my X-Acto knife and I open it up and lock it in place. I put my hand on top of the glass and then I take my sharp knife, my sharp X-Acto knife, and I go around it. Now, you're gonna notice that my glass accidentally slips from time to time. So you've gotta be careful. I don't put my hand down here because I'm afraid that my sharp utility knife, X-Acto knife, will cut me. So I keep my hand up above and I cut from the top. So I just take it and go around and cut from the top. Okay, so I got this mostly cut out, and then I want to go ahead and do my second one. So this is my second one. I want to do two. I'm doing two glasses at once with one tile skin or one skin tile. And it doesn't have to be exact or perfect because I'm going to use the scissors next. So then I take those two things and I put them off to the side and I take off my circles. So you can kind of see that it's not exact, right, around there. And then sometimes you're going to notice that you didn't cut it all the way through, like that one right there. And that's what my scissors are for, is just to kind of, you see the edges indented in there, and I just cut it out. So then I'm going to take my skins and I'm going to adhere them to the back of this so that they are back to back. So I flip this over and I'm going to put my skins here and here, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them down right away. So, and it looks like I cut into there, so I got to be really careful. If you accidentally cut or there's a crack, you can use your pens to help hide that. So I'll show you that here in just a second because I think I'm going to have to hide that one. So I get just a tiny bit of my Liquitex Gloss Medium and I just put on here. That's all you need for gluing these circles down to each other. I'm just going to put a little bit like that. And then I'm going to put my skin on top of here and just kind of rub it down. And the same thing with this one here. Try to get it as close away from that crack as I can, but still being able to get a full circle. Okay, then I adhere it there. Then I take my scissors, and I know this is time consuming, but let me tell you, they look so much better than not taking the time to cut them circles and not to put them back to back and glue them, and it just looks gorgeous. Now you can just put one circle on the glass, and I'll show you that in this next one that I do. You can do that if you want and then paint over it. I've done that before. So there's one disc done, and then here I'm going to take another one, and I keep my skins. I've got a pile of them. I did 96 of them yesterday afternoon and last night, and I use those skins for magnets, and I'll show you what I've got here in just a second. But I make sure as best I can that the white is covered and it's mostly in a circle, like that. So that's how I mostly do it. And let's see, there's a little bit of white right there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off there. But I wouldn't have to do that either. Okay, so then I take these skins. Let me just show you. These are my two discs. And then I have these magnets that I make as well. That there's enough on there to make that. And this one I don't like as well, but you know, I could find something like, if the center was more like that, that would look really cool, right? So I keep these just in case I use those for that off to the side. All right, so let's get back to what we are doing. So I've got these 2 discs now, and I take 2 glasses right there, and these discs will go on the bottom. So then what I decide is which side I like better from the top. So I put the glass down and I kind of decide, okay, that looks kind of cool. That looks kind of cool. Let's put this one. Which one do I like better? Oh, I think I like, that one's a tougher one. I think I like this one better with a deeper pink. And then what's going to happen is that's going to be my bottom. So that looks really pretty, right? Just like that. All right, so that's going to be this one. And then this one, I think I like that one better. All right, so then I have my 2 glasses. Let me put this more in the center for you. My 2 glasses, I've got, these are going to be the bottoms that are going to be seen from the top, so I keep them flipped up. Then I take my Liquitex medium and I put 1 dot, just 1. That's all you need, is 1 little dot in the center. And then I take my brush and I just gently brush it across. If you overwork this or not put enough on here or put too much, you're going to see streaks from the other side. So I just kind of barely brush it on. Then I take my circle and I put it in my 2 fingers side to side, and I center it on here. Let me move this one off to the side so you can see better. I center it on here like that, and then I take my finger, because there's an indent, and I push it down. And then I take it, oh, and it slid a little bit, so let's put that back in the center. And then I just let it kind of go all the edges and push that down. So let's do the other one again. So I take my fingers, put them like that, get the sides, press in the center, and this one, I must have had more Liquitex on it than normal because it's sliding a little bit more. And then that's what it looks like from the top, right? I don't know if you can see that very well, but those look really, really cool. So you can kind of see how I've got an edge right there that's kind of sticking out. So that's what I use the scissors for. So I put my hand on the bottom to keep it from sliding, and I take my scissors just on the edge, not underneath. If you get underneath it, you'll actually cut it too close. So I take it on the edge and I just snip around the edge to make it so you don't see it from the top, and you can't catch then your finger on it later and peel it off, right? All right, so there's that one. It's done. So I'm going to put that one off to the side, and then I'm going to look at this one. This one, it looks like it's got a little bit on this side over here. Kind of moving it over just a little bit because I see some space that's not all the way to the edge. This one right here doesn't have space all the way, it doesn't have something all the way to the edge. And actually that's not horrible. And so let me show you how I'm going to now rectify that. So I'm gonna get these little skins out of the way. The next thing I do then is I use an old tape thing and I put it in the center of my tile, and I grab a paint brush pen, whichever one color you think would look the best. So for this one in particular, I think I can either do gold. I probably could do like that pink if I really wanted it. Green, that gold there, but I think I'm just gonna do this gold. So, and I just take it and I just put it on the edge, and I go a little bit at a time, circling this, and if I need to get on the actual top of it, then I do that. And you don't have to do this, but this is just because I don't want to see that little white, right, of the skin that you can see when you look down on it right there. So that's that white. Can you see that? How that's got some white right there? So I'm just going to take my pen and go around it. And then sometimes I get it on the glass, so I use a paper towel and I just kind of circle it like this to get it off the glass. So Comes off nice. And then there you go. So that's the first one. Let me go ahead and do this one. And I put this here, it just helps me so I don't slide it off the tile. It just is a little bit better for, I don't know, maneuvering and being more exact as I'm trying to go around. Try not to get on the bottom and get into the actual painting. But if you do, the great thing about these pens is all you got to do is add a little bit of water and to like your paper towel or your finger, and you can get it off. So, and I take a little bit of extra time. I'm taking a little more time than I normally do for you guys right now. It takes me about 7 minutes from the time I decide to cut the skin till I get it prepped for 2 glasses to get it prepped for resin. Okay, so now that I've got the glasses done, I go ahead and put them down. I grab my tape, my painter's tape, and I want to protect my glass from the resin. So I just tape down all 4 sides, and I use it on the tile because here I'll show you why. So I cut on the tile so I don't cut anything. And then I use my tape on the tile because then I can go like this, get all my edges down, and then I just peel it up and it looks like that. Okay, so I'll do this one here again for you guys. And you probably can tell I'm from the Midwest in the United States because I say you guys, you guys. Instead of, I used to live in Houston and I said y'all all the time in Texas. Hey y'all, but I don't know, I'm just no longer that. I'm a Midwest gal now. All right, and so I just peel that off and there I go. And now they are ready for resin. All right, so I'm gonna put them in the box and I'm gonna show you how protected they are back into the box. Then I take my glasses and I just put them down in here, and look at how well protected they will be when I go to resin these. I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna do a few more for you. And if you, I'll probably fast forward through this and slow down a little bit here and there, but for the most part, I'm gonna get these done. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so remember when I said that you could do 1 disc on the bottom? So you could do it like this if you really wanted to, and then you could paint the bottom of that. You could even put like, this is a dipped one, but you could put like these little crystal-like things on the bottom of them. Here, I'll show you. This is a better one. So you could paint the bottom, which I did on this one here. And then I added this opal fleck to it, and then I resined this one. So you could do that if you really wanted to. I really like the dual side ones. I really like the dual side, so that's kind of what that would be right there. And I just think it just, for me personally, that's what I like. And so that's what I'm doing. But you could always just do 1 disc if you really wanted to, all right? There I go. Right there. Done. So yeah, just a little less than 7 minutes. Sometimes depending on how much cutting I have to do or correcting, then it could take, I have gone up to 8 minutes depending on, I had one of these that had a cut in it, and so then I made sure I put a paint pen and I put underneath it so you couldn't see it. So yeah, and if you want to, again, just make sure that you're, you know, pushing it down really well. But these are really pretty. Okay. Look at all of them. They are all ready to be resined, all ready to go in the boxes with the tape on them. There's so many of them. Okay, I'm going to measure my resin, and you're going to need your PPE, which is personal protection gear. I'm outside, so I don't need a respirator, and really with this stuff, you don't need a respirator. Okay, the key to resin is to make sure that you measure the exact amount. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. And I don't need much for these, so I'm going to go ahead and get my, let's see, this one would be the hardener, and pour out a little bit in there, not a lot. We'll go to 1 ounce. Okay, it's exactly 1.06. You need to be exactly the same when you add in your resin. So you got your hardener in there already. Now I got to add in my resin. 1.06 will get us 12 or 2.12, 2.12. 2.1, 2.5, 2.05, I mean. 2.16, so I didn't get quite 2.112, but that's okay. All right, then you have to, hey Siri, set timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
So then you need to stir your resin for 3 minutes. This is I had a whole bunch of Panera extra glasses from when we did a, I don't know, catering thing, so I just have an extra one, so I'm using it. Since I'm just doing a little bit of it, I'm not doing a huge amount, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it with this. Okay, so let me show you how I did my first coat of resin. So it was actually in the garage when it was super cold, so my resin was kind of thicker. So I ended up just spooning it in with a plastic spoon onto each single one that was in the same box. I was freezing. I couldn't believe how cold it was that I was doing this, and I really wanted to protect my family and the fumes. So I'm out in the garage in the middle of winter doing this, and I think it was, and I'm not kidding you, I think it was a wind chill factor that day of like 20 below zero. But anyway, I'm out there doing this, and all for a fundraiser, right? You can kind of see it looks milky white, and that's just because there's a lot of air bubbles in there. And so this first coat that I'm doing, I'm just gonna kind of get the resin in the middle, and then I'm gonna spread it with my spoon, and then I'll heat it with my heat gun. You do have to be cautious with resin, you know, getting on yourself, on your hands, and really depending on what type of resin you're using, it has quite a bit of fumes and it can cause respiratory problems. So I had decided that I was going to go ahead and use a respirator here, and so I actually have a respirator, so I'll show you a picture of me with the respirator on. But then I discovered that this particular resin I didn't need to, but yeah, it kept me warmer anyway. All right, well, let's take the heat gun and let's heat these up. And you kind of start high up and then you go down, and you can kind of see how it's starting to like pop the bubbles, the air bubbles, and then you'll start to see it actually get warm and start moving a lot more than just popping the air bubbles. And it kind of looks like I'm moving fast, but I'm actually got this on a little bit faster mode, so you can kind of look through this and watch through this a little bit. You probably have already fast forward, and if you haven't, thanks for joining me and keeping going with me. But now you can kind of see I'm getting a little closer to the actual wine glass to heat it up, to heat that resin up and pop those air bubbles that are in there, because that's the big thing, right? You don't want that milky white, you want it clear, crystal clear. So you just need to make sure you heat it up enough that it's going to get rid of all those bubbles. And it was harder to work with it being so cold, so just be aware of that when you are using resin. And again, on this, I was worried about the resin going over the side of the glasses. And after the first coat and with the second coat, it didn't bother me because I just peeled it off. I just spent the time and just peeled it off. And yep, it adds more time. It does. But they look fabulous. And I'm so looking forward to showing this to the group of people at my fundraising event. See how shiny it's getting? They're looking so good. I think all the air bubbles are popped now, and I'm just kind of making sure that it gets all the way to the edges. And on that one, you can kind of see there's some bubbles on even the edges. Okay, so welcome back. Now that you have done your resin, I want to show you what I do next. So these I resined yesterday, and I just want to tell you a couple tricks that if you would get some resin on here while it's still wet, rubbing alcohol works really, really great for these. So I just wanted to kind of show you that. It's not so good once it's dry, but while it's still wet. Okay, so the items that you're going to need are possibly some scissors, a X-Acto knife, or technically a utility knife, and then I used a small one too in order to kind of bend to get to things. So those are the tools that I use. Typically it's just this one, but I do use those ones from time to time. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I check to see if it is dry enough, and again, I did these yesterday, so the reason why I'm going ahead and doing them right away is I don't want them to get too hard. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off, and then once the tape is off, you're going to see that there is resin along here. Okay, so what I do is I take my X-Acto knife, or what my husband calls a utility knife, and I just start in an area, and I do it from the top. And I just put lotion on my hands, so that's not good. Let's get some gloves to make sure it doesn't slip, because the worst thing you want to do is to slip while you have a knife in your hand, right? Yeah. All right. Get my gloves on. All right. So now that I have this, what I do is I take it from the top, not from the bottom, because if I go like this, I tend to go into the design too much. So I go from the top, and I start right here, and I start cutting along the edge. Now careful of where your thumb is, careful where your other body parts are, because if you accidentally like flip it, you've got to be careful there. Okay, so I go along cutting that, and then I discover I've got more. I go on the top now, just to make sure that all of the top is off. And what I mean all the top is off is like all the resin is off the top of the area. So, And did you see how that knife kind of went over here? It almost got me. So you just have to be careful as you are doing these. And standing up where I'm at right now is just a harder way to do this. And honestly, the gloves are harder for me. So once I get that off, the sides off, it's warm or it's soft enough to kind of melt the sides. So then what I do is I take a paper towel or a towel and I just kind of friction it, and then I meld the sides together. And I'm going to use that with my hands. I'm going to have to wash my hands, all the lotion that's on them right now. And what that does is it kind of warms up the sides, and it just kind of gets the sides to be more of a gloss instead of a cut area. Okay, and so there it is, all done, ready to go. Then I always check to see if there's like any on the glass, just in case. And if there would be, I use this right here to scrape off the edges. All right, kind of go away from yourself, scrape off the edges of the resin, wherever that is. I see just a little piece right here. There. Okay, so that one's done. All right, I'm going to stop this and come back and wash my hands from this grease that I have right now. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. So I've got my tape here, get that out of the way. That one is done, put it off to the side. So let's do this one. Let's go ahead and take off the tape. This one doesn't have as much on the edges as the other one did, but again, from the top, get my glasses on. I take the resin off, and I do it on the day after I do resin, because if I do it on 2 or 3 days later, it gets so hard that it's almost like glass, and then it's really hard to get off. There. Okay, so now that I have my sides done, I can take my hand or a towel like I did before, and I use friction to soften the edges because it's still 24 hours since I did my resin, so it softens the edges for me. So you can kind of see that I actually had blue pen on that one. Let me go get my towel. This is the one that I was using. So I just kind of use it, friction, and then I melt it. So there you go. And then I take this and I clean up my edges. Collects the pieces. All right, we'll do one more. And there you go. See, picks up the little pieces. Okay, so here are the two that I did at the very beginning, the one tile of bloom that I did. Aren't they beautiful? These are my favorite ones, I believe, from that. So let me show you. Turn them over. Turn that one over. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That's probably going to be mine that I'm going to keep. And here's this bottom here. You see the shine on that? Super pretty. Gorgeous. Love it. Wow. I'm so happy with these. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to show you a bunch of pictures. All right. Bye. Okay, everyone, so these are all of the glasses that I did, minus one right there. That broke. Oh well, that happens. I still use the bottom for some decoration, but that's that's how it goes. But there are 103 glasses, small little glasses that we're using for our Wine About Winter event. That is a fundraiser that we're doing here in a couple weeks. And then these glasses over here are ones that I'm using as auction items. Some of them, not all of them, but they're not a part of this video. They're just kind of showing you some extra ones. But all of those will be in the next few videos that I have come. So I hope you really enjoy learning how to make these really unique and beautiful glasses. They take time, and that's okay. Sometimes us fluid artists want something done right away and easy and fast. And really, sometimes you need to remind yourself that not everything good is easy and fast. These took some time, learned some lessons along the way, and definitely have a couple of things that I feel that work better than others. And I really love sandwiching the two skins together and resining over the top. So remember, resin doesn't work well with hot water, so therefore these are not dishwasher safe. All right, thanks for joining me on this journey over the next few weeks. It's all about wine glasses and bloom techniques. Hey Bailey, hi puppy. All right, bye everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining me today, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell. And if you like this video, I bet you're gonna like these as well. Thanks a lot and have a great day. Bye! Bye!